This is part 8 of a series on building a full-stack web application using Spring Boot and React, where you get to watch every line of code being written and a full app built from the scratch, step by step. If you're new, start watching from this video. We have a React app, which is calling our REST API, getting the data, and showing it with a bunch of components. The problem though is this React app is hard coding what URL it calls. Okay, so if you look at the URL that we are calling, the team name is kind of hard coded. What we want to do is look at the URL in which the page is loaded and then send that team name to the backend. So you can imagine a React app where you go like team/Rajasthan Royals and then it picks the name Rajasthan Royals from the URL and sends that to the API, right? You see what I mean? Team/team name should take that team name and then send it. So you essentially get the team details for various different teams just by navigating to that URL, which is kind of like what a web application is supposed to be anyway. So what I want to do is change this to not have this be hard-coded. Instead, get that from the URL, a path segment in the URL. And the URL that I'm thinking of is something like this. So you have localhost colon 3000, which is what the application is hosted on, right? So it's like localhost colon 3000 / teams / Rajasthan Royals. Okay, so this is how it's going to be, and then it's going to pick whatever is after the teams, and it is going to pick that and then use that for what to send to the backend. Okay, so in order to do this, you need to employ React Router. Okay, which is what we're going to do now, and React Router starts from app.js. Right now, team page is hard coded into app.js. So when the page loads, when our React app loads, it always shows team page. Okay, it's static. In this sense, it's static, but you get the idea. Now, what I want to do is add React Router here. So in order to do this, I need to add a package called React Router DOM. It's an extra package. You don't kind of get that automatically. You need to add that to your node modules. So the way to do that is by using yarn add or you npm install React Router DOM. Okay, it becomes a dependency to your React application. So once this gets loaded and installed, you can import the router from React Router DOM. Okay, so I'm going to go back here to my app.js, and over here I'm going to do import. You can import a lot of stuff from React Router DOM. The first thing I want to import is the router itself. Okay, so it's called browser router. I'm going to call this as browser as router because I don't want to type browser router. And now what I can do is I can add the router tag over here. Router tag over here and put team page within the router tag. Okay, now what this is going to do is basically put everything inside this as a routable thing, right? You can use routers within this, and now we can define routes here, right? A router is going to contain all of the different routes in your application. Now the next thing I'm going to do is import the route itself. So I'm going to do route. I'm going to import this. And now here I can define various different routes. I can say one route for the team, one route for the match, one route for like home or whatever else, right? So I'm going to define a route here. Why do I do small case all the time? Okay, in this route, I'm going to put the team page, and I'm going to define a route by defining the URL, like what is the path that you need to go to show this route. I'm going to say path equals, let's say / teams, okay, a hard-coded teams route. And now I can do yarn start. And then when the home page loads, like when I load this, I'm not going to have anything, okay, because nothing is in the main route, right? This is the team page is now a part of the teams route. So when I just do localhost colon 3000, I don't get anything. However, if I were to do teams, then I'm going to get this particular thing, right? Which is kind of what we want, but with one exception. We don't want this for teams. We want this for teams/team name. Okay. The way to define that is by defining this variable part, which is colon team name. Okay. So I'm basically going to say, do this only when somebody calls teams/something. Okay. So I can do teams/foo, and it is going to load this. No matter what you call it, is going to load this. Now the next step is obvious. I need to take this team name into my team page and then use that team name instead of whatever I'm doing over here, right? So I need to get team name somehow. Okay, how do I get team name? Well, I can get team name by using the useParams function. Okay, I can import useParams. It's a function called useParams from, you guessed it, React Router DOM. Okay, useParams is a function which allows you to get the path params that have been passed to your page. And now here I'm going to do const team name equals useParams. Okay, what useParams is going to give you when I call this function, what it's going to give me is an object with all of the path params. So team params is one of them. So I'm basically using destructuring to get the team name directly. And now I'm using this directly over here. It has to be backtick, of course, not this quote. So now I'm going to use the team name and pass that in instead of whatever I'm doing over here, right? So if I reload, well, I'm going to get an error, of course. But now if I were to send a proper team name, like Delhi Capitals, I'm going to get Delhi Capitals, right? Now let's say I call Royal Challengers Bangalore. I'm going to get Royal Challengers Bangalore, right? So now I'm using this path parameter to get that initialized to this variable over here, and I am passing that to this guy over here, all right? Now, one other thing I can do is handle the error case. Okay, so what happens if I use something which is not proper? Like I use something else over here, I'm going to get an error, right? I want to handle that. How do I handle it? Well, I can figure out if team is an empty object or not. Okay, so I'm going to say if not team, which means that I'm not able to find the team object, or maybe if not team dot name, because I'm initializing team to an empty object over here, right? So if not team, or maybe I'm going to do an R, not team dot team name, I'm going to return h1 team not found. Okay, so I don't have to return this JSX. Now if I were to save this, I'm going to get a team not found error. Okay, I can tweak this to do something else. I can tweak this to be like a 404 kind of a thing, but at this point, I'm probably not going to do that. Seem to be having a problem indenting this. Let's see if this indents over here. All right, that's better. So now I have a team not found error for when the team is invalid. And if the team is valid, like over here, it is going to show the data. So now we have got the wiring as far as the route is concerned. So we have successfully completed the team page with kind of like the functional skeleton of what we need, right? It has all of the pieces, all of the moving pieces there. Now what's left is to kind of add more data so that it has something valuable, and then styling. We're going to do the styling much later, but I do want to add the necessary data elements here so that we can kind of wrap this up and move on to the matches page. Okay, so what are the data elements that we need? Let's look at the match details component. Okay, what do we want the match details to show? The match detail card to show? Well, the first thing I'm thinking of is rather than have the team name versus the other team name, we know that we are, like, for example, in this case, we are loading this page for Royal Challengers Bangalore. So we don't need to show Royal Challengers Bangalore versus for each of these other cards, right? We can just say versus team, versus team, versus team, and so on. How can we do that? Well, we can do that by kind of examining what the team is. Right now, we don't know what the core team is, right? It's just getting a match. The match detail card is just getting a match. and it doesn't know what context it's loading it in, right? It doesn't know if the main page that is triggering this match to be loaded is from team 1 or team 2. So we have to pass that team name and have it show the other one. So what I'm going to do here is, in my match detail card, I'm going to pass another argument, team name equals, and then what am I passing here? I'm passing team.teamName. Okay, and even the match small card, I'm going to pass this, and it's going to serve a similar purpose. It is going to identify what the other team is, and it's only going to show that instead of showing both the teams over here. Okay, so in my match detail card, I'm going to get both the match and the team name. And over here, I'm going to get other team constant, all right? I'm going to say const other team equals, and then I'm going to do a match dot team1 equal to team name. Then I'm going to have to, this is kind of similar to what we did on the Java side of things, right? We're going to look at team 1 and see if it's the concerned team. If it is, then it's the other team. If not, then it's this team itself, right? It's simple ternary operator to decide this. So I'm going to do match.team equals team name. Well, in that case, the other team is match.team2. And if not, the colon goes over here. If not, it is match.team1. And now here I'm going to, rather than do team 1 versus team 2, I'm just going to call it versus other team. Okay, this looks good, right? Royal Challengers Bangalore is the heading, and then this is versus Sunrisers Hyderabad. Okay, so I'm going to copy this stuff over here to the match small card also. Gonna have the same logic. And then I'm going to do versus other team. Okay, I need to accept this team name as an argument over here. Team name is not defined. Where is it not defined? Am I not passing this as an argument over here? Team name equals team.teamName. Seems to be defined here. So where is this not defined? In match small card.js line 5. Team name. Why is this not defined here? I guess it's the same problem as here, right? If the match is empty, I need to return nothing, right? There's nothing to return if match is empty, right? I'm going to stick that in here. And now, cool. This is working fine, just like we expect. Now I'm going to add some more data over here with the match information. I'm going to say, then remove match details. We don't need that. And then I'm going to say, maybe make this an H1. Whoa. H1 over here. And then I'm going to say H2 is going to contain match.date when this match was played. And then I'm going to have an H3 at match.venue. Okay, save. Right? Cool. This doesn't look very good. I understand that, but it at least has all the data that we need. Okay. And then I'm going to have the result over here. I'm going to have an H3 over here. And then I'm going to say match dot, what did we call it? Match.java. We called it match winner. Okay. So I'm going to do match winner 1 by, and then match dot, let's see, result margin, and then the result. Okay, match dot result margin, and then match dot result. Match dot result is runs or wickets, and the result margin is by how much. Okay, and save. All right, so here we get this information, right? This happened. This was a match versus Sunrisers Hyderabad. This is the date at which it happened. This is the stadium at which it happened. And then this is the result. Sunrisers won by 6 wickets. Okay, now I'm going to copy this thing over to the match small card. I'm not going to have anything else. I'm just going to have this be H3, and then this is going to be a paragraph. The small card is just going to have some basic information, which is what we have over here. All right, so this is the big card, and then the small cards are just going to have whether they won or lost, right? Who won and who lost. Awesome. Okay, so we have the contents, basically, whatever we want to show over here. There's one other thing I want to do before we wrap this up, which is to make these team names be hyperlinks. You should be able to click on a team name and see the dashboard for that team name. It'll be a cool feature to use, and you can kind of navigate between teams that way. So what I'm going to do is when I'm rendering team name, I am also going to make that a link so that they can click on it and go to that route. Okay, so here's how you do it in React. First, you need to get the link, import the link from React Router DOM. Link is a component which allows you to do this, send a link to another route. So I'm going to import this from React Router DOM. Okay, and then I'm going to make this be a link. Okay, versus, and then I'm going to make this a link. And then to is a property which lets you specify what is the route that you need to send this link to. Okay, so I'm going to make this over here, close the link tab over here. It's going to be /teams/ and then the other team, right? I think this is the syntax, but I could be wrong. So what I'm going to do is, let me actually get this out here. And then const other team route equals /teams/ other team, and now I can add that over here, right? Other team route. All right, I'm going to click on this thing, and it is, well, it's not doing anything. Why is that? Well, the reason it's not doing anything is because I probably haven't had the effect trigger when the team name changes. You see here, you remember I was telling you earlier about how the array here indicates what needs to change for the use effect hook to run. Right now I'm saying do this on component load, but don't do it after, all right? But here is an exception to that case, right? We need it to load after we have loaded that thing, because when you do this, well, the component load is not happening, but then the context is changing. You see here, the URL has changed, but it hasn't loaded it. So in order to do that, I'm going to say, use the hook, call the hook when team name changes, right? This array is going to contain all the properties that need to change for you to be able to reload this. And now notice it's working like you would expect. So when the team name changes, the use effect is going to run and it is going to fetch the data, which is why this thing is running and loading the data. All right, so I'm going to make this have a space over here by putting this in the same line. Now I'm going to take this guy here and then copy this over to the match detail card as well. We will need this even over here, right? Other team route is going to be this guy. And then I'm going to convert this to a link so that even this thing is going to be clickable. All right, this guy, there's going to be a link. All right, now what is this error? Link is not defined. Well, I'm going to have to import it like I did here. I'm going to copy this and then import this thing here, and now it should work. All right, now we have links for all of the teams, which is pretty handy. Now I can use this to navigate between all these different teams and then, see how they're doing and all that stuff. All right, cool. Next, we have the match page kind of ready. It's kind of good. I'm happy with it. Now I'm going to be adding, well, it's a team page, sorry. The team page is kind of ready now, and I'm happy with this for now. We're going to style this later, and we might add a few more UI elements, like more details about the match later. But for now, this is good. I have the team page ready, okay? So now let's move on to the match page, okay? What is the match page? We want to show all the matches for that team in that particular year, and then maybe make a call to get the match API. All right, so let's do that next.